Where you going, boy? Don't do that, do it!
Hollywood. So I spent my time Skid Row. And I was sleeping downtown. I was sleeping behind the bus station, and the guy said, "Young man, what are you doing out here?" "My name is Miguel Nunez. I'm 640 Cemetery Street, Wilson, North Carolina. I came here to be an actor." He would go, "Oh, God." And I would never understood why everybody was going, "Oh, God." I saw from being here, the finish line.
Miguel A. Nunez, Jr.'s life is the definition of a plot twist. From working on farms in North Carolina to owning the spotlight in Hollywood, he's done it all. With unforgettable roles in Return of the Living Dead and Juwanna Mann, Miguel's journey is full of grind, grit, and plenty of moments that'll make you go, "Wait, what?" Let's dive into how he went from small-town roots to big-screen fame while staying true to himself.
Okay, I was born in New York. I was born in Manhattan, New York.
So, what went down with Miguel after the laughs faded and the wig was off? Life didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for him. He hit some tough patches. No roof over his head for a while, and even a run-in with shoplifting. But Miguel's story isn't just about the drama. His childhood? Total plot twist. He was born in NYC, but instead of growing up as a city kid, he ended up on a farm in North Carolina with his grandparents. And we're not talking about relaxing on a porch here. He was out there hustling, picking cucumbers, beans, and tobacco. Oh, and working factory shifts that went on forever. It wasn't easy, but it gave him the grit that would later define him. Before Hollywood came calling, Miguel was already grinding. He showed up in all kinds of TV shows and movies. Think Return of the Living Dead, Tour of Duty, and Street Fighter. The guy was booked and busy, proving he had what it took to make a name for himself. But let's be real, fame didn't mean life was all sunshine. His ups and downs on screen were a lot like what he faced off screen.
As soon as we got 3 years old, she gave us to our grandmother in North Carolina. Next, she had seven. I got 7 brothers, 1 sister. Everybody 1 year apart, and then she gave them to us. So we all ended up in Wilson.
So it's 8 of y'all?
Yeah. So
There's
I
8
grew
of
up
us.
in Wilson, North Carolina, deep in the.
Honey.
And his mom was a total icon in her own right. She was stunning and insanely talented. As a teenager, she made her way to New York and caught the eye of some major names, like James Brown. Yes, the James Brown. And she didn't just hang out with him. She wrote one of his biggest hits, "It's a Man's World." No wonder Miguel's got star power running through his veins.
In your life. And I was raised on a farm. My mother was raised there with her grandparents. My mother, who I just moved in with me now, I should come meet at some point. My mother ran away from home at 16 years old. And she ran away from New York, and she ended up meeting James Brown, and that's how she became the writer of his #1 hit, "It's a Man's World," my mother wrote.
Let's get into Miguel Nunez Jr.'s grind to make it in Hollywood. It was anything but easy. Picture this. He's snagging roles in movies like Friday the 13th and The Return of the Living Dead, but behind the scenes, the dude had no place to live. Yep, Miguel was chasing his dream while being homeless.
Nobody was there. I made 3 bologna sandwiches. I packed a suitcase, wrote a note to my grandparents, said I'm going to Hollywood to make something out of myself. That's all I said.
So how much was the check?
$127.
Oh.
Things got so rough he had to sell his blood plasma just to afford food. "That's how I kept myself going," he said. Even with movie credits, he was broke, bouncing around the streets of LA, including tough spots like Skid Row, just trying to survive. Miguel spent nights crashing on benches or bus stations, huddling near the back of the bus for that engine heat to stay warm. "I'd wake up downtown after the bus stopped," he said. He didn't know much about LA, so he ended up sticking to the rougher parts of town, just trying to get by. When he finally found a shelter, it was less than ideal. Think rats running around and people getting sprayed down at the door to keep bugs off. Not exactly a dream spot, but Miguel kept his focus. Even while relying on welfare to survive, he never let go of his goal to make it big.
But you did get where'd you got this first role? How'd you get that first role?
The first role I ever got was, I was on a bus. And there's some guy going.
One night, while wandering the streets, this random guy stopped Miguel and asked what he was doing out there. Miguel, being totally honest, laid it all out. He came to LA to act, had nowhere to crash, and his suitcase? Stuck in a locked storage unit he couldn't get into. The guy offered him a place to stay, and Miguel, being young and trusting, thought, wow, this dude's just being nice. But before they even got to the guy's place, he suddenly stopped and said, actually, you can't stay with me. Miguel was thrown off, thinking, is it because I talk too much? A classic grandma complaint. That's when the guy said, I'm gay. Miguel, being from a small town, totally misunderstood and was like, oh, I'm happy too. After a quick explanation, it finally clicked. But instead of getting weird about it, Miguel just thanked him for being upfront. Even though he didn't end up crashing at the guy's place, he didn't leave empty-handed. The man handed him $20 and hit him with some solid advice. Don't trust random people. Stick to safer spots during the day and figure out where to crash at night. It wasn't much, but it meant a lot. It was just enough to keep Miguel moving forward even when things felt impossible.
I graduated and I was working at a tobacco warehouse.
Yeah.
Right? And I got my check and I was like, whoa! And I'd already planned on what I was gonna do in the summer, and I was like, and I know it was God. And I'm like, whoa, I got a check. I bet you this is enough to get to Hollywood. So I said, if I don't go right now, I'm gonna be stuck.
They said he won't make it. Let's be real. Miguel had to deal with all kinds of trash opinions about why he wouldn't make it. People told him straight up nonsense. You're too skinny, you're broke, you're black, no way you'll ever be an actor. Like, who even says that? When he left his small town in North Carolina, the doubters didn't stay behind. They just kept running their mouths. But here's the thing. Miguel wasn't about to let their negativity stick. He didn't just think he'd make it, he knew he would. And that kind of confidence? That's next level. Here's the takeaway. People are always going to have opinions about your life, but you don't have to listen. If you're chasing a dream, don't let anyone's doubts drown out your own belief. Miguel started from nothing, literally nothing, and every step felt like a flop. But he kept grinding because he knew he was made for something bigger.
Hollywood. So I spent my time Skid Row, and I was sleeping downtown. I was sleeping behind the bus station, and the guy said, young man, what are you doing out here? My name is Miguel Nunez. I'm 640 Cemetery Street, Western North Carolina. I came here to be an actor. He would go, oh, God. And I would never understood why everybody was going, oh, God.
Miguel's been through some seriously tough stuff, especially when it comes to relationships. His divorce, that was one of the hardest hits. In an honest interview, he opened up about how it basically broke him. He pointed out how people always assume breakups hurt women more, but he was like, nah, men feel it too. He wasn't just sad, he was straight up devastated. Miguel even admitted he got to a point where he thought about ending it all. And it wasn't just him. Some of his close friends who'd been through the same thing were feeling just as bad. His marriage lasted 15 years, so letting go was a huge deal. He put a lot of the issues down to being away for work, months at a time, off doing plays and missing out on family life. He feels like he wasn't there enough when his kids were younger, and that definitely added to the problems. He totally gets why his ex felt how she did, but being gone so much made it hard to fix things. But it wasn't just that. His wife wasn't in the entertainment world, so she didn't get how crazy his schedule was. Looking back, he wishes he'd tried harder to keep them connected, maybe bringing her along on the road or finding ways to include her more. And then came the gut punch. While he was away, his wife had a baby with someone else. That hit him hard, and he had to deal with a ton of pain and confusion while trying to move forward. But life wasn't done throwing curveballs at him.
I saw from being here the finish line. I saw the finish line.
In 2019, Miguel got into a bad car accident and broke both his ankles. To fix them, doctors put in metal screws, rods, and plates, making his ankles part human, part machine. Now, whenever he goes through airport security, the alarms go off, and he has to explain, "It's just my ankles." He laughs it off, always ready with a story. But here's the wild thing. Miguel hasn't been sick in 30 years. No cold, no flu, nothing. At 60, he's got more energy than most younger folks. He doesn't work out, but he challenges anyone to a game of basketball, confident they'd be out of breath before him. He swears it's all about keeping a good attitude and staying positive. He also swears by laughter as the secret to staying healthy and happy. He believes that's what keeps him feeling young. Whether it's cracking jokes or watching something funny, he's all about the power of a good laugh. One of his most memorable roles was playing Biscuit in Life, 1999, where he embraced the emotional depth of the character. Miguel also helped his friend Bear get a role in the movie after struggling to even get an audition. proud moment for him. There were rumors about his sexuality after his role in life, but he's always been about love and acceptance, making it clear he supports everyone, no matter who they are. He's also spoken out about his role in Juana Man, a film that sparked some backlash for its portrayal of black men in dresses. Miguel defended the role, saying acting is just playing a character, and he thinks actors always have the right to say no to a part.
I know good and goddamn well that you don't need no groceries. What happened?
Little ignorant woman would make me stand outside and have a 3,000 line outside.
So, Miguel's life has had its fair share of drama, but this one, it's straight up soap opera material. Picture this. He's just doing a normal grocery run, strolling through Ralph's, grabbing his items, and heading out. But then, things got super weird. He tried to leave without paying for hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. Yup, you heard that right. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? Of course, TMZ caught wind of this and the story blew up. But here's the twist. Miguel came back a few days later to pay for the groceries. But instead of a thank you, the store called the cops on him and he ended up with a shoplifting ticket. Here's the kicker though. Miguel insists he didn't steal anything. He says it was all a big misunderstanding. Apparently, he was just over the long line, and when his credit card didn't work, the cashier wouldn't let him leave the groceries behind to get his car. After a heated back and forth, he just rolled his card out of the store, thinking he'd pay later. He came back to settle the bill, but the store wasn't having it and things got messy fast. The cops got involved, but thanks to the pandemic, they didn't throw him in jail. Miguel says they were cool about it, letting him go with a slap on the wrist. In the end, he didn't face any major fallout. Was it a legit misunderstanding? Or was Miguel trying to pull a sneaky move? Guess we'll never know for sure. And that's the story of Miguel A. Nunez Jr., proof that grit, talent, and a little humor can take you far. If you're into more stories like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Catch you in the next one.